Daytime with Aston A. We're going to be talking about weddings and even spring cleaning down the line as well. Stephen Smith joins me as my regular contributor in the show. So, hello,
Good
Stephen.
morning, Aston. How are you today?
Morning, Stephen. Fine, thank you. And of course, there we're going to be discussing about wedding spring cleaning, for example, there because it's that time of year that wedding season starts, and also spring cleaning as well.
Aston, have you had a spring clean?
Of course, yeah. I think everyone's got to have a spring clean anyway, making sure that everyone has it.
It never seems because I live near a building site at the moment. It seems to me I clean and I go out the room and I come back and needs redoing again because there's so much dust everywhere in the air. It's a nightmare. Let's hope Nikki can answer my question what to do there.
Exactly. That will be later on in the show because joining us right now is author who's an award-winning author, I have to say, and writer as well for her number one book, Stranger in Our Bed. Samantha Lee Howe joins us. Welcome, Samantha.
Hello, Aston. Hello, Stephen. How gorgeous to see you today. Beautiful spring day.
Good morning. How are you? I can't believe you were on the One Show last night with our friend Casey Ainsworth, who, by the way, is a patron of Anna Kennedy Online and a good friend to Aston and I. It was amazing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I didn't realise it was that I was going to get a mention on the One Show, but my agent texted me and said, Sam, I was just watching the One Show and they mentioned you in the book. And I was like, what? So I went on iPlayer and had a catch up and saw it. And I was really, really happy. It was great. Very exciting to be mentioned.
I love the One Show. It's a good little show, isn't it? Really enjoyable. Congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Well, yes, congratulations on the mention on there. But happily married to David, of course, there, Samantha, as well. What is the secret of having marriage? And also, how was your wedding back then as well when you got married to David?
Well, firstly, the secret for a happy marriage, I don't know whether there is one, but I think once you accept that when you live with somebody else, it's about compromise. And it's not all about you, it's about you both. That's I think that is probably a big secret. You've got to, it's not about one person or another. David always says that our relationship is good because basically happy life if you've got a happy wife. So I don't know. I think he's not wrong on that, but I think it also goes the same for husbands. Happy husband too, and then you've got a happy marriage.
Aston, I've been lucky enough to hang out with them both, and they're such a great couple together. They're just adorable. But Aston was asking about your actual wedding. What was that like?
Our wedding was, it's 9 years this year, believe it or not, and we had a steampunk wedding. So everybody was all in Victorian clothes with amazing gadgets. And it was great fun. It was the best day ever. I mean, really, it was full of love from everywhere. All our friends were there and we felt supported, we felt loved, and it was just an amazing day. And it was about us, not about, a lot of weddings are about the bride. To us, it was our wedding. It was about us. I wasn't even bothered that much about my dress or anything like that. But, we all looked lovely. Everybody looked lovely that day. It was great.
Honestly, Sam, I could do a whole show on Bridezillas. Oh, my God, the stories I could tell you about them.
I can imagine.
What it is about the bride. How did David propose?
Well, that was really funny because he sort of didn't propose. It was
Wow.
I must tell you the story. It was my 49th birthday. And he had mentioned to me, what do you want to do for your 50th? And I said, I don't want to think about being 50. I want to think about, I'd like to get married. That's what I said to him like a few weeks before my 49th birthday. And I thought nothing of it. And then on my actual birthday, he gave me a ring. And it was definitely an engagement ring. And I went, oh my God, what does this mean? Does this mean? And he's like, sat there and he was crying, bless him. And he couldn't say it. He just couldn't get it out. And I said, are you asking me to marry you? And he went, yes, I am. So I went like, yes, of course I will, because I was so excited because I love him, and it was just amazing. Who needs the get down on one knee thing? Because I think that would have been so cliched. It was just so David what happened, and I thought it was lovely. Pair of us were in tears.
Wow.
And then we took a picture and posted it first to our friend Fraser Hines to show him, and he went,
Oh, bless
"Oh
her.
my God, does this mean you're finally doing it?" It was yes.
How many times? How many times has Fraser Hines been married?
Twice.
Oh, just twice.
Yeah.
Ah, so interesting, really. And then that being said here, Samantha, as well, your book, Stranger in Our Bed, it revolves around a newly married couple issue here. But do you have the first-hand experience of that as well?
I do. I mean, the book isn't about me, you know, it's not a Mary Sue, but there are, as every writer does, you bring experiences to what you're writing. So you've experienced things, there's parts of you in there. So yes, I didn't have a very successful first marriage, which was, you know, mainly because my husband was a narcissist and, you know, quite abusive, really. So it wasn't the best situation to be in. And the worst situation in that case is because it was psychological abuse, you don't really realize that there is a problem necessarily right away. It takes a while. They work on you so much. So, you know, so the stranger in our bed was, in fact, playing on how it felt to be in that situation, if that makes sense.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
because I
it
mean,
does.
let's face it, some people can write about all sorts of things, but not necessarily be about them. It is a fantasy or a story,
Absolutely.
which is a good time to bring up, Aston.
Yeah.
Samantha's releasing a book of short stories for Pink Ribbon charity. It's
Okay.
5, 6 authors.
At the
I've
moment,
written one.
it's going to be about 20
Oh,
stories in
20.
there, I hope. Yeah, 14 to
Okay.
20.
Fingers
I'm
crossed.
waiting for who's coming back yet. But as Stephen said, he's just submitted one for it, and it's fantastic, and it's in.
And it's not me, the character, by the way. I'm not
No,
killed any.
it's
No.
definitely not. It's
That's why
definitely
I'm
not
bringing it up.
Stephen.
But when will that be out, Samantha? Later in the year?
We're hoping that's going to be out early September.
Fantastic. That's really
Yeah.
exciting. That's really exciting news. But listen, in all seriousness, you know, there are people right now listening and people not listening or people are going through it. They're in an abusive relationship and it's not just physical, it's emotional. How do they start to get out of that?
Well, they always say that it takes about 7 attempts to leave an abusive partner.
Yeah.
But I think the first step is actually identifying that you're being abused and then reaching out. And there are so many places, wherever you are in the country, wherever you are in the world, in fact, there are places to call. Now, I support independent domestic abuse services in Yorkshire, and they cover most of Yorkshire. And so sort of like Barnsley, Sheffield, Doncaster, all of those areas. So if you are in trouble or you want to just talk it out with somebody to get to grips with what's going on in your life, their helpline is always open. So I would recommend that. Or there are other services like Refuge that I think is national. And
Yeah.
so just, you know, just Google it. It's not that hard to find somebody that can help you. And at least talk to somebody. First step to getting free is identifying, talking, and then worry about the steps of getting away and how that's going to happen afterwards.
Do you find that so difficult for people? I mean, Ashton and I obviously belong to charities that say, please talk.
Yes.
But it's so often people have had bad experiences trusting people. And people have gone away and opened up to this word, please open up to me so I can use it against you later on. I mean, it's just hard to decide who to trust, isn't it, Samantha?
It absolutely is. I mean, that's why it's almost better to go to a third party. I mean, even ring the Samaritans, just get some advice from somebody who doesn't know you if you're worried about that. You know, just tell somebody, because once you've spoken it out loud, then you realize it. You actually start to identify the reality of what you're going through. It's very, very important.
Yeah, it's really important. Ashton, do you agree? You're all for talking about things, aren't you?
Yeah, especially when it comes to the mental health side of things as well, it has to be said there, because it's better to speak up than not speak up here. But on that front here, Samantha, do you find when you write something here that people presume you have experienced it yourself here?
Yes, I've been asked that many times. I have been asked that many times, and they said, "Oh, is this character about you?" And I've gone, "No." I mean, my book, the Jinx Chronicles, which is a science fiction fantasy book, because the girl on the third cover had white blonde hair, everyone was saying, "Oh, that's you, isn't it?" And I'm going, "No, the artist, that's what the artist did. And it's based on the model from the first two books. It's just that her hair turns white in this third book." So, but people do assume that it's kind of a Mary Sue, as they call it. But I've never written a Mary Sue. I mean, I think you do buy into experiences, definitely. I always say that characters are like Frankenstein's monster to me. So they're parts of people that you put together. And somebody in there, you might go, "Yeah, such a body said that to me. I know I'm going to use that," but it won't really be them, if that makes sense.
Well, let's put it this way, Aston. When I went up and stayed the weekend at Samantha's. I took a cross, some garlic, and a steak with me.
It was very wise.
Well, no one will argue your name is on everyone's lips at the moment. I remember when we first met you, winning 5 awards. What was that like for you to suddenly wake? You must have woken up one day and thought, "My God, it's happened for me."
I mean, it started with the National Film Award in July last year when the film won Best Thriller. And since then, we've gone on to win. Do you know, I've actually lost count. I think the screenplay now has won something like 14, 15 awards, which is quite shocking. And The House of Killers, my novel, has won, I think, two awards as well. For Best Book, one of them is Best International Book. So it's actually, it's like this, it's like buses, isn't it? You don't get any and then they all come at once.
I know. Feast or famine.
Absolutely.
So,
but it's thrilling. It's thrilling.
It's amazing, really, and that I have to say, Samantha, as well. But you're putting on your own film festival here, so can you tell listeners about that film festival?
Yes, I am. I'm putting on the Psych House Film Fest, which is based in a local village to me called Psych House. And I just thought it was an amazing name. And of course, there's this fantastic pub there that also do screenings and have a fabulous marquee. And I realised that this was a great venue to do a film festival. And I decided I really wanted to do it because it's kind of like typical of me, really, is when you receive something, I like to give back. So I just thought I want to celebrate all these wonderful filmmakers as well, and support them, and just basically say, yeah, you're great. And so we're actually open internationally, and we have had many submissions sort of all over the place. From all over the world, actually. So very much looking forward to that. Takes place on the 29th of June. So screenings all day, and then we've got an award ceremony at night and red carpet, the whole lot. So it's kind of dressed to impress. And if you're looking for us, just search out Psych House Film Festival on Eventbrite.
Well, put it on the YouTube video when it goes out. That's fantastic. Now, listen, we couldn't help but see madam, you were on GB News working with Eamon Holmes. What was it like? What was it like working with him?
Oh, it's a bit nerve-wracking, actually. Not least for the fact that when I went into the studio, I went and knocked his breakfast all over the floor.
Oh, you did you?
I did. I sat down. They said, "Sit here." And I sat down, and there was a little table next to me, and I knocked it. And Eamon's breakfast was on it, and it went all over the floor. And I was mortified. You can imagine, I was absolutely mortified. And then I had to go on and speak straight after that. And I was like, but he was ever so kind. He was lovely, actually.
You can't take you anywhere, can we?
Disaster, total disaster area.
So that along there, Samantha, as well. We're hoping to hit in the big time here. You won't forget us, of course, there. But what advice would you give to anyone that's out there listening today? A bride to be here.
A bride to be. Oh yeah, take a chill pill. First of all, if something goes wrong on the day, it is not the end of the world. I had a dress malfunction, and I had this corset dress, and I put straps on at last minute, and I got up to sing because I used to sing in those days. I sang a song for David, and a lot of breath control involved in that. I breathed in, pop, the whole thing went. Luckily, I caught it. There wasn't an exposure moment. But I didn't lose my cool about it. I just thought, okay, whatever. I was waiting, you know, I half expected something to go wrong. And I thought, well, if that's the worst that can go wrong, you know, it's not the end of the world. Enjoy the day. Love everybody who's attending and supporting you. That's all I can say, really.
That's the lovely bit. That enjoy the day.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's about you. And I sometimes think weddings turn into being about everybody but the bride, or just the bride in some cases. But I do think it's important. Listen, obviously you've got the honeymoon to look forward to. We won't go into details of that. But what 3 books would you take with you on a holiday or a honeymoon?
I have 3 amazing favourites, and one of them is called, it's a short story collection called The Pavilion of Frozen Women by S.P. Sonntag. And I don't think he writes anymore. He does operas now, which is a shame because his writing was fantastic. And then there's another book called Swan Song, which is Robert R. McCammon, which is now, I think it's just been optioned for a film. Hallelujah, because this is a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book. And my third favourite, and probably my all-time favourite, is Vivia, and that is by Tanith Lee, who was ended up towards the end of her life was a friend of mine and a mentor to me. But all of her books just make me think that I'm never going to be a good enough writer whenever I read them, because her writing is just so superb. And I can always reread those, always.
But so Samantha, how can our listeners find out more about you, but also what's next for you as well?
What's next for me? I'm going to be doing lots of events as usual. I'm writing a book at the moment, but I have got a new book out at the end of the year called The Soul Thief, which is not a departure for me, but it's kind of a lap over in my horror and crime. So it is a supernatural thriller. And it's set in Victorian times, so it's also a bit historical as well. So that's coming out around about December.
That must take a lot of research.
Yes, it did, but I love history, so writing into the Victorian era was not that difficult. There wasn't that much, you know, research needed for me, so I know a lot about it already. It was great. But yeah, and if you want to look more about me, it's www.samanthaleehowe.co.uk. That's it.
Oh, well, so we'll put all that on when the video goes out for tomorrow. And thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again. Come on before the film festival, please.
Exactly.
I will. Thank you. Love to you guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.